What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hail Mary. This Friday episode, what are we on? Episode number 29. Thank you to everybody who has been listening and watching throughout that entire span. I appreciate it very much. And welcome back. We got a decent amount to talk about, mostly about football. The Buffalo Bills look bad. We got some stuff to talk about with baseball. We got a decent little agenda to talk through with you guys. And before we get to all that, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button and that bell notification. It costs you absolutely nothing to do so. Helps me out a ton. We are trying to get to 10,000 subscribers on the channel. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, it would help your boy out so much. I also want to give a big shout out to Underdog and Sleeper. Sign up, use the code HMM when you sign up. You're going to get yourself a free 0.5 pick plus a deposit match as well when you sign up for Underdog and Sleeper using the code HMM. All right, everybody. So the Buffalo Bills last night, they kind of did the thing where they didn't look like a competent football team whatsoever, and they're doing this juggling act. 1 week they're good, 1 week they're absolutely horrible. If you remember last week, Josh Allen played on his freaking head, and the Bills just went on an absolute offensive tear versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh Allen ended up having 6 touchdowns in that game. And what we're learning from the Buffalo Bills, they are only equipped to really win games in which it is an absolute shootout. If you get into a shootout with the Buffalo Bills, their defense is still good enough where they're going to get 1-2 stops, and Josh Allen is good enough where he is going to outscore you. So if you get in one of those type games where defense is lacking or you just try to outgun Josh Allen, you're not going to win. And we saw that with Tampa Bay. Now, Tampa Bay, again, they're hurt. They're dealing with a lot of injuries on their own. I actually think Tampa Bay is equipped to outscore a Josh Allen-led team, but you're missing Mike Evans and all this. There's a lot going wrong with Tampa Bay. But when the Buffalo Bills have to play a team that is stout defensively and can sustain drives and doesn't put up these ungaudy numbers on the offensive side of the ball, like we see with the Houston Texans, for some reason, the Buffalo Bills, they collapse and they don't know how to play football anymore. Their offensive line yesterday was dominated by Houston. It wasn't like it hurt me to watch how bad Josh Allen was getting beat up yesterday. What did he get sacked 8 times? Will Anderson was all over the place. People thought Josh Allen was hurt multiple times. And it's just proving to me yet again that the Buffalo Bills are not built to win the Super Bowl. They're not built to win in January. And I drank the Kool-Aid. I took the bait. I thought that this was going to be the year. I thought that the Chiefs were going to take a step back. And I think the Chiefs have become so much of a obsession and so much of a kryptonite to the Buffalo Bills, they forgot that there are actually other teams in the AFC. They spent all their time trying to build a team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And we see the blueprint on how to do it. The Buffalo Bills can beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. We saw how to beat them in the Super Bowl. The Eagles dominated the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I think the Bills saw that. The front office saw that, more so Brandon Beane, and decided that's what we're going to do. Just exactly that. While ignoring other factors that Houston's over here with a very good defense. You have the Chargers over here with a good team. You have the Colts, who are amazing this year. You have the Broncos. You have the Patriots. And he ignored all those other teams and zeroed in tunnel vision on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Kansas City Chiefs are bad right now. I shouldn't say bad. Kansas City Chiefs are a middling team right now. May not make the playoffs. And the Bills decided they're going to throw all their eggs in one basket. Hey, at the end of the year, it's going to be us in Kansas City. We're going to build our team to get over that hump. Well, now that Kansas City is seemingly out of it, you're not built to beat these other teams right now, unless it is a shootout type game. But you go up against a team that has a semi-good defense that can sustain drives and keep Josh Allen off the field. It's proving that you cannot beat those teams. Now, listen, the Buffalo defense, they played well yesterday. There have been games where their defense looked horrible. People thought that Houston was going to run all over this team yesterday. They held Houston under 25 points, but Houston's defense was so freaking good that it was able to neutralize any comeback, any semblance of Josh Allen flipping that Josh Allen switch and remembering who he is and why he was the MVP of the league last year. And that is the other problem right now with the Buffalo Bills. I think that Brandon Beane is looking at Josh Allen as a quick fix, end-all, be-all, and that's why the rest of the roster kind of is the way that it is. Not really getting the best weapons on the offensive side of the ball in terms of receivers. James Cook is very good. The offensive line is kind of struggling right now, which you need a good offensive line for any quarterback, but the offensive line, not the best right now. And then the rest of the defense, it's kind of like defensive line, because we're building that out just to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You dominate the Kansas City Chiefs on the offensive line. You limit Patrick Mahomes in the pocket. Don't let him improvise. You beat him. And I think that the Bills got too much tunnel vision on how to beat the Chiefs. And then they look at Josh Allen as we can skimp on this position because we have Josh Allen and he'll make up for it. Now, I understand that you had Stephon Diggs and you still didn't win anything with him. But it wouldn't hurt to have a player of that caliber on the offensive side of the ball at a receiver standpoint. Now, yes, it would have been a lot for you guys to go out and try to get a Jalen Waddle, which I don't think they would have traded him within the division, or a Garrett Wilson. Same thing. I don't think they would have traded him within a division. But you could have went out and tried to get a Chris Olave, maybe a Jacoby Myers, just another big name wide receiver instead of going into this year with Keon Coleman, who knows what's going on with him. Khalil Shakir isn't a wide receiver one. Gabe Davis is not a wide receiver one. There was a lot that the Bills could have done, but I think they didn't do because they see, we have Josh Allen, and because we have him, he'll fix everything else on the offensive side of the ball. And we're obviously seeing that that's just not working right now. So the Buffalo Bills, they're sputtering. They're not built to win in January. I drank the Kool-Aid. I thought the Buffalo Bills were it. I thought this was the team of destiny this year, finally, because of the Kansas City Chiefs being down and out. It's not looking that way. Now, anything can happen. Anything can happen. The offensive line can gel a little bit. They can get a bounce here and there in the playoffs. I'm not saying that this team is incapable of winning the Super Bowl. I'm saying that what I'm seeing right now with my two eyes in my knowledge of how I've seen teams play, it's just not going to work out. Because we've seen this same thing when Ben Roethlisberger had AB, had Lev Bell. It just didn't work out. It just did not work out. And that was more so because the defense was bad. This Bills team is 1 week they're good, 1 week they're bad. And that's going to win you games. That's going to win you 8 to 9 games. Maybe even 10 or 11 if you're the Buffalo Bills. I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm saying that right now, what I'm seeing, they're too inconsistent. They're not going to win the Super Bowl. It's just that. I thought they would. They're not going to. The next thing that I would like to discuss with you guys, it's baseball, and it is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we spoke about drinking Kool-Aid in the last segment with the Buffalo Bills, where I thought the Bills were going to win the Super Bowl this year. I can't drink the Kool-Aid on these reports right now from Jeff Passan talking about Kyle Schwarber maybe coming to Pittsburgh, and the Pirates offered Josh Naylor, and hey, they're looking to spend some money, and they might be bringing up Connor Griffin. As much as I would love that, as much as it would heal my soul for the Pittsburgh Pirates to actually build a team around Paul Skeens, to actually build a team around O'Neal Cruz. Yes, O'Neal Cruz played like absolute dog shit this past season, but he is still one of these namesakes on the team that they brought up, and they're trying to develop him into an absolute superstar like an Ellie De La Cruz. I don't think he's ever going to be on De La Cruz's level. I think we've seen too much from both of these guys to know their ceilings, but he's still one of these guys that you can build around. I think that these reports that came out about Paul Skeens, seemingly people saying, oh, he was in the locker room talking about how much he wants to be a Yankee, and this anonymous player came out and was saying, yeah, that's all Skeens talks about. While again, if you've heard my previous podcast, I thought those were all BS. There's still some truth to it. While Paul Skeens isn't saying it publicly, while Paul Skeens probably isn't even thinking it, there's still some truth that I think that he would rather be on a team that is like the Yankees more than he would a team like the Pirates. He would rather be on a team that is trying to win, that wants to win, than on a team that wants to win. The Pirates want to win. I'm not saying they don't, but they're not trying to win. So if Paul Skeens had his option, he's going with the side of the team, Yankees or like the Yankees. Like, even if the Pirates were losing, but they were trying, I think that he would be more happy in that situation. The Pirates are trying to win, but not trying to win, if you get what I'm saying. So I think the Pirates saw that report, and there was kind of a mad scramble, because it's like, was it true? Was it not true? What's going on here? Do we actually have a mole that's leaking information? And I think the Pirates heard this report and were like, hey, we kind of have to get on the ball. We have to hit the ground running. And that's why these reports from Jeff Passan are coming out, that they're looking to spend money. Not that they're going to spend money, that they're looking to spend money. And it's more so that I think that they want to get the narrative out there that they're trying. But what I actually think is happening is, for example, Josh Naylor, he re-signed with the Mariners. He got like $90 million. And apparently the Pittsburgh Pirates offered him like $14 million less than what the Mariners did. And there was this big rah-rah. There was this big, oh my God, the Pirates actually offered somebody money. Big money, multi-year. They haven't done that in forever. Haven't signed a multi-year free agent since like 2018, I forget when it was. It was like a Von Nova or Francisco Liriano. Like an absolute nothing signing for multiple years when you've had all these other free agent signings from all these other teams. But I think that what the Pirates are trying to do, they go to an agent, like Josh Naylor's agent, and they'll be like, what's the number? What's his number? And he'll be like, 92. The Pirates will go, perfect, 76. And then they're like, well, we told you it's this. And they're like, yeah, we're offering it to you. So they can get it out there that, hey, we offered. He just decided not to accept it. It's not our fault that these players aren't accepting the offers. So I think they're intentionally lowballing. And if somebody is dumb enough to be like, yeah, sure, I'd love to play here, and scoop it up, then they'll pay it. They're not offering anything that they're not unwilling to pay. It's not going to be a situation where they would offer Josh Naylor 76 or 72, and then he accepts it, and then they go, well, actually, I don't think it's a situation where they're going to lowball. If they accept it, awesome. If they don't, then you go cry to the media that nobody is accepting your offers. And I'm worried that they may be doing the same thing with Kyle Schwarber. And what's going to end up happening is the Pirates are going to re-sign the same guys from last year and just be like, hey, we offered Schwarber, we offered Naylor, we offered Murakami, we offered all these guys. They just said no. And then the agent's going to come out and be like, yeah, but you offered $15 million below the asking price. and they're just going to put their hands up and be like, hey, it doesn't mean we didn't offer. So that's what I think is going on. I think that the Pirates are looking to be, I don't want to say boy who cried wolf. I want to just say, like, they want a reason. They want sympathy. They want to be martyrs, where it's like, hey, we're trying, man, but we can't do anything because there's no salary cap. Like, we offered Josh Naylor what we thought was fair for our small market, and we can't compete with Seattle because they have money and we don't. Like, I think that's what they're trying to do, is play victim like they always do, but they're doing it with a twist, where instead of just not offering anybody and making the fan base mad, they're going to offer, and then half of the fan base will be like, they tried. And then the other half is going to be like me, who sees through the BS and is going to be like, no, if he wants 92, you give him 100 because we need guys here in Pittsburgh. If this guy wants 50, you offer him 60. Like, you haven't spent for years, you have the money. Even if we add $30 million to the payroll, the Pirates are still probably bottom 10 in payroll. So go out there and spend the money. There are going to be, I think there's going to be more people like me, because there are more people like me in the Pittsburgh media right now who are kind of seeing through the BS. Mark Madden sees it. Andrew Filipponi sees it. Mark Cabali sees it. I think Josh Yohe sees it. Even guys who don't cover baseball see it. Like Mark Cabali and Yohe. Like, those are football and hockey guys, and they still see through the BS. They're asking the questions. What makes you think that the Pirates are actually doing this for the right reasons? And I have to agree with them. What makes us think, as Pirate fans, that they're actually trying? Because if they were actually trying with Josh Naylor, they knew his number. You don't go in blind on the number, because the manager or the agent is going to go to teams who are negotiating and be like, hey, Seattle offered 92. Like, you know that number. So if you were actually trying to be competitive, you're going to say, oh, 92? We'll go 95. Make the Mariners pay more. But instead, you go, yeah, he's getting 92 from Seattle. What do you guys want to do? Let's go 76. You know you're not going to win that. So that is my take on it. What I love for the Pirates to actually be trying to win and also trying to win, if you get what I'm saying there. Because I know that's probably confusing for some of you. Because they want to win, they're just not trying to win. Yes, I would love them to. I don't think we're going to get a big name free agent. I think that there's some truth to both things, that what I said. I do actually think that they want to put together a better team, knowing that Connor Griffin's coming up, Paul Skeens, they get Jared Jones back. If we keep Mitch Keller, that's not bad. I have a feeling they're going to dump him away. I do see them getting not a big name free agent, not a Kyle Schwarber, but going out and getting somebody better than what we're used to getting. Like we would get a G-Man Choi or a Rowdy Tellez or a Carlos Santana, even though Carlos Santana was very good for us. I see the Pirates making a move for a guy like above that tier, but below superstar tier. I think that they're going to get we'll say they're going to get a solid everyday player on the back end of their career. Now, who will that be? I have to really look, because there are positional needs at this team, but do not expect that. I do not expect them to get a Murakami. I do not expect them to get a Kyle Tucker, a Schwarber. I don't expect that whatsoever. A Josh Naylor, obviously. And Eugenio Suarez. I don't see that either. I don't see them trading for a guy like that either. I see them trading away Mitch Keller and bringing in somebody like a prospect to go play and take over Connor Griffin's old spot. That's what I see from the Pirates. But what I do not see is a superstar. And that is exactly what this team needs, is a superstar, absolute piss missile, hitting bombs type player. And there's a guy on the market right now that you could pay, that would fit, that has tormented you every single time he's played you. And that's Kyle Schwarber. And it's, treat it like Bill Belichick with Wes Welker. Bill Belichick could not stop Wes Welker. He had no idea what to do to stop that man on the offensive side of the ball. So you know what he did? He traded for him. And he made him his. The Pirates get beat down, brutalized. Just, it's not a fun time for Pittsburgh playing against Kyle Schwarber. If you can't beat him, buy him. That's all you can do. But that's my take on the Pittsburgh Pirates right now. The final thing that I want to talk about is this entire Lane Kiffin saga. So we're hearing mixed reports that, oh, he's going to LSU. No, he's looking in Florida. Oh, he's staying at Ole Miss. No, there's going to be someone in the 11th hour who comes and swoops him up. If I had to actually, like if I had to pick right now, gun to my head, where do I think Lane Kiffin is going to coach next year? I think it's either going to be, I'll rank it in order. The 11th hour team is last, for sure. I don't think a Penn State is going to swoop in, and Arkansas, like with big money. I don't think any team like that is going to swoop in and pay Lane Kiffin, nor do I think Lane Kiffin wants to coach there. I actually think that there is a better chance that he goes and coaches at New York, or in New York, for the New York Giants. I think there's a better chance of him going there than somewhere like a Penn State. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo, Malik Neighbors, they have a good defensive line. Like, this is a good team that you would be taking over if you were Lane Kiffin. I don't know if the Giants are interested. I don't know if he's interested. Now, he'd be interested if it came with a giant check. But I actually see that more of an option than him going to like a Penn State. Next up, I actually think will be Florida. The way that I look at it right now, Florida is a very good program. That is a very good pipeline. But with NIL, with recruits, with everything else that goes around college football right now, I think Ole Miss is a better program than Florida right now. They're in a better spot. Now, yes, it's because of how Lane Kiffin has built it up. And yeah, Florida's going to have more money, but it's one of those things where it's like, if it's not working in Florida for a player, Lane Kiffin can just scoop him up. Next up, I see him for number 2 is him staying at Ole Miss. I think he has a good thing going for him right now. I think they get good players, they get good transfers, they get good recruits. Lane Kiffin, he knows this program, he knows what they want to do. But then on the flip side, number 1, I don't know why, because for weeks, I have been pounding the table, rah, no, he's staying in Ole Miss. And I think right now, and again, I don't really know anything about, this is like me reading message boards and me listening to podcasts and just making my own assumptions. I think LSU is the job right now. I'm not going to sit here and say that Lane loves to be the villain. And I'm not trying to say that he's trying to make a villain of himself with Ole Miss. But that checkbook for LSU is much deeper than Ole Miss. And yes, in this new age of college football where if you want a guy, you open up the checkbook, you go get that guy. And that's what Ole Miss can do. But there are still some 4- and 5-star kids out there who, frankly, don't care who the coach is at LSU. They want to play at LSU because it's LSU. And that there's a different mentality to those kids than what you're going to get at Ole Miss. Listen, there are people out there who love Ole Miss, want to play and be a rebel. But there are people, but I will say that the caliber of player who has that same mentality for Ole Miss than they do for LSU, I'm going to take the LSU kid 10 times out of 10 because they know what they're getting into. They know what to expect. They know that every single day is a grind. You have to win every game. Every play is like your life is on the line for LSU. That is like the mentality that some of these kids have that want to play for LSU. You are getting lunatics, psychopaths sometimes at LSU. And then on top of that, you have all the money in the world to bring in these kids who, yeah, maybe they're like, oh, I'll go to Ohio State. No, we'll go to USC. Oh, LSU's offering me $12 million. Yeah, let's go there. And they're wildly talented. So you get a mixture of that. I think as of right now, the job to be for Lane Kiffin is LSU. And I think that they're going to offer him more money. I think that if there actually is an ultimatum right now with Ole Miss, because apparently there's reports coming out that Ole Miss said to Lane Kiffin, hey, we need an answer like ASAP. You need to tell us right now. Are you staying? Are you going? What is going on? And I feel with a guy with Lane Kiffin, that's not something you want to do. Because then it's just going to be like, oh, you're giving me an ultimatum. F you, I'm going here, and then I'm going to make your life hell. Now, I'm not saying he's that petty, but I'm saying could be the mindset. So you take everything. You take the kids who want to play for LSU. They're absolute animals, and they're crazy, and they're dogs. They are dogs. Then you take all the money that you can get for NIL and the atmosphere that's there. And plus you're going to get more of a benefit of the doubt with the College Football Playoff Committee at LSU than you are at Ole Miss. If you look at say LSU has two SEC losses, Ole Miss has one SEC loss, or no, sorry, let me rephrase this. LSU has a non-conference loss to a big team and an SEC loss, and then you have Ole Miss who has one loss. I think the committee's going to give the benefit of the doubt to the two-loss LSU team because of the brand, because of the name, because that's what we're learning right now with the College Football Playoff Committee, that they care about names. They care about reputation. That's why I made a whole thing about why is Miami ranked lower than Notre Dame when, yes, Miami has two worse losses. I won't question that whatsoever. But Miami beat Notre Dame straight up, and they have the same record. So I think that Lane Kiffin seeing stuff like that, he's like, wait, yeah, I would rather have the reputation of an LSU. I would rather get the paycheck in the NIL of an LSU. And I think that's the way he is going to go. Would I be surprised if he stayed? Absolutely not. Would I be surprised if he did anything other than Ole Miss or LSU? I would be. I would be very surprised. I think if he went to Florida, if he went to the NFL, if he went to Arkansas, Penn State, some school like that, I would be like, oh, what? Like, that's crazy. But it wouldn't surprise me if he stayed at Ole Miss, if he stayed at LSU. But my personal opinion right now, based off of nothing but message boards and podcasts, is that I think Lane Kiffin is going to be the new head coach of LSU football down in Baton Rouge. Him and his family. I had a wonderful time down here with my family. If we get a Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly, Cajun accent, oh my. I had a wonderful time with my family. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you never miss another video. I'm sorry, I saw that. So you never miss another video. Big shout out again to Underdog and Sleeper. Use the code HMM. When you sign up, get yourself a free 0.5 pick and a deposit match. and follow us everywhere on our socials: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, and we're also over on X if you want even more content from ya boy, from his writers, from Irby Brooks, from Jersey Bill, and from myself, Benny Yinzer. Thank you guys for listening to this edition of the Hail Mary. I will see you all on Monday. Peace out, guys. Thank you so much.